Hello everybody, this is the Young Gamer here, and today we are on Spintires doing a couple of mod reviews.
Well, I'm going to do one mod review, and that is this pretty awesome Citroen 2CV, which has been around for a little while now, made by the pretty awesome Voto.1979. And we've been meaning to get around to reviewing this one for some time because it's one of my favourite cars in real life anyway.
Bakery.
Yeah, it's a bakery. There's a little backstory that goes with this car. What Voto says is that he says, "You are the new caterer for the logging company. Deliver food to garages to activate them, or help out with a little repair utility. Using parts of the mod and uploading anywhere are strictly prohibited." Okay. So that's why you're delivering food to the various login places.
Ah.
Yeah. So start this bad boy up and see what it sounds like. Ooh, nice big lump of black smoke coming out from it. It's always a healthy sign. I always wanted to have one of these cars. My friend's sister, who was much older than him when I was at school, she had one, and she would give us a lift sometimes in it, and I thought it was awesome. Let's have a look inside it. Let's have a look at the back seat. Can you see the back seat? Because I always remember the back seat was really firm and it was much higher than normal back seats. Not quite accurate, but anyway, I always remember you had a really good view, and the controls.
Driving?
Yeah, go for it. Driving. The controls were minimal. Ooh, big black smoke again. The actual controls are minimal. 2CV means, the CV bit means chevaux vapeur. It's French. Deux chevaux vapeur. 2 steam horses. That's what that means. And the idea was, when these were produced, when they started producing these back in 1948, the idea was that they were going to try and convince French farmers to leave the horses behind and start getting into the modern age with vehicles. So they made them incredibly basic, very, very simple to use, so that the farmers would take to them and they wouldn't be too complicated and the farmers would treat them as just another piece of farming machinery. They were still producing them up until 1990. I know.
That's only...
That's like
25 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Then 1988 they stopped producing them in France, and the last 2 years they produced them in Portugal. Move it around a bit so we can actually see it.
There's a little fuel tank down on the side.
Is there?
Yeah, look at that, right there. You see little...
Oh yeah, that's right. People sometimes think that because it's 2CV it means it was 2 horsepower, but in fact the original ones were 9 horsepower, which is about as powerful these days as one of them fancy garden lawnmowers. Yeah, so they designed them as absolutely as cheaply as possible, but they were a major success when they were launched. Initially, when people, because initially when they built them, it didn't even have an electric starter. It had a pull cord, just like a lawnmower. But before they took them to the first motor show, the secretaries of the company had a go at starting it, but they couldn't start it because they weren't strong enough. So they went back, and luckily the designer had left space to put a little electric motor in it, because he knew that it would need it, even though his bosses said, "Oh, do not put an electric motor in there, it makes it too expensive." He thought, "Well, I'll have to." So he fitted electric motors. Yeah, but they were designed as another piece of farming machinery. That's why you see that roll top, that roof can be rolled all the way back and right down. It used to be rolled. You used to be able to roll it back on some of the models all the way down to like where the number plate is. And the idea was that if the farmer had oversized loads, he could just stuff them in the back and have them like poking out the top. Yeah.
The end of the road now.
They stopped making those ones with them. This one must be post 1955, because that's when they stopped. Is this the end of the road? Okay, yeah. Turn around and take it back up the other road, and we'll see how it does off road. Oh, don't smash the truck. Have a look at the map and see where you got to go. What's it like to drive? It looks pretty cool though.
Pretty.
I mean, Voto does make some pretty.
It's pretty simple to drive actually.
Yeah, he does. What's the headlights? Put the headlights on. Ah, yeah, that's good. That's a nice touch because in France, often you find the headlights are orange or yellow.
Oh, I've never gone to the map. No.
They were so popular. They were ridiculed initially because everyone said it's just like a car. Look, there's a road there. You can go up that road there, so you can go up that road there. They're ridiculed in France, but they sold over 3.8 million of the 2CVs alone.
Do you know how many were made of these things?
In total, well, you see, there was different variants. So you had the basic 2CV, which is the ones that they produced up until, when was it? It was I forget. But anyway, they produced 3.8 million of these particular type. Then they also made different variants. They had a little van version, which was called the fourgonnette, and they produced 1.2 million of them. We'll put a picture of them on. And then they also made another couple of variants called the Ami, the Diane, the Acadian, and the Mehari. And we'll put pictures of those up. So this is the Ami. This one is the Diane. They made 1.8 million Amis, made 1.4 million Dianes. The Acadian, they made over 250,000, so a quarter of a million. And the Mehari, they made 140,000 of these. In total, they called them the A series cars, which were basically all of the variants of the 2CV. They sold over 8.8 million of them.
It's a lot.
Exactly. How does it look? How does it do? It seems to do alright on the. Is it got diff lock and all? Oh, it does that. It comes with all-wheel drive. I don't think in reality they ever came with all-wheel drive. I'm not sure. Back in the day, those you see. Oh, look! Zoom in on the front door. Zoom in on the front door. Not the actual driver's door. Yeah, look. You see where the door handle is?
Yep, right there.
Yeah, suicide doors. They called them suicide doors.
Why?
Because they used to open up, so that it's hinged on the back of the door. So they used to sort of open up. The front bit of the door would open up, which meant that if anyone came up behind you and smashed into your door when you were trying to get out, because you wouldn't be able to see. When you open up a door normally, you open it up. Keep driving. You open it up.
I'm stuck.
Oh, are you? Has it not got a thing on it?
It's a bit stuck.
Ah. Yes. It is rather stuck. Has it not got a winch on it?
It's got one on the front, but that's buried under the ground.
Alright, see if you can you winch to anything? You got put your winch on top. There's nothing there to winch to, is there? Check the one out front.
Nope.
There's nothing up there, no. Check the one up front. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yay.
You should winch out, no problem. He's got a 25 litre fuel tank. That is tiny, isn't it?
That could probably get you from here to Aberdeen.
Well, you've used 21 litres already, mind you, because you've got diff lock on and all wheels on.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, if the door came open when you were driving, the air pressure, the wind force would force the door even further open. Instead of slamming it shut like it would do now, the wind pressure would force the door shut if you had hinges at the front. But because you've got hinges at the back, it would force the door open. It means that if the door comes loose when you're driving, it's almost guaranteed to fly open. And you might then fall out. So I said that
I thought they had like bombs on the side of them.
Yeah. So this car must be pre-1964 because that was when they finished putting the suicide doors on.
Suicide doors.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think the door would ever come loose though in our time. No. Our time now it wouldn't come loose. Their time it probably would.
Oh yeah, I mean they weren't. These cars were so. They were so basic. They were really thin. I mean, it was. If you look at that front door again, if I remember correctly, that window, there wasn't any window wipers. There wasn't any. The windows wouldn't open. You see that there's a little flap. There's a little hinge along the middle of the window.
Yep.
Going horizontally.
Yep.
That's a little hinge, and the top half of the window just folds down.
Oh.
So you can't actually wind the windows down. All you can do is sort of open up the windows.
Like.
Just open up the top part of the window.
Yeah. This thing's actually doing amazingly.
It is doing really well, isn't it? It's really good.
On the website said it could only do light off-roading.
Did it? Well, this is managing that okay.
Well, mind you, this is a mod, not the real thing.
Within months of this going on sale, there was a 3-year waiting list for them. They were so popular. And that soon after that, there was a 5-year waiting list.
Oh my god!
When people were paying more money for a second-hand car than they would have done for a new one, because they bought a second-hand one, they didn't have to wait for it.
Holy moly!
They was only producing 800 odd units a year up until about 1950, and then 6,000. Sorry, from 1940. And in 1950, they went up to about 6,000 units per year.
This is absurd.
In 1951, there was up to 100 cars a week.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Like, these things here, you could probably build this in your garage by hand. It was that simple.
There is a... now look. Yes. Go. Let's have a look at the front of this car now. Okay, now I see what he's done. This is the 2CV Sahara.
Yeah.
This is the off-road version of the car. Yeah. So this was built from 1960 to 1971.
How many were made?
Oh, 694. Almost 700 of these were built. Yeah, so they targeted these at French oil companies, because I guess they'd have been operating down in Angola and these sorts of places. The military and the police.
I think the military would have used quite a few of these.
It said the Sahara had an extra engine mounted in the rear compartment. So let's have a look at the rear compartment. Oh, that must be why that compartment's a bit bigger than on the normal cars.
Why does it have an extra engine?
And they were both front and rear wheel drive. So yeah, absolutely spot on. I was incorrect what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yep, really nice. So this is the Sahara.
Nice one. It's got a very little grill there.
You should, if you go to a garage. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there's a garage available to us, but basically, you probably get a spare tyre on the bonnet.
Yeah. We should go on. Oh, it's broken over there.
Oh yeah.
We should go and check out the upgrades soon enough.
Yeah. Where's the? How far are we away from a garage?
Well, we need to unlock it. Remember.
Oh, do we? There's nothing unlocked.
Yeah. You can get that thing and take it down though.
We might have to change map and find one with a. Is there any maps with the garage that's unlocked to start with?
Yeah, I know quite a few maps.
What ones that we've got?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and put it onto a new map. Right, so which map is this?
This is the coast map.
Okay, this is a stock coast map. Okay, so let's have a look at these add-ons.
Trunk roof.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
There's basket on the roof.
There was probably they probably couldn't have connected it directly to the roof to the sides of the roof because it probably weren't strong enough.
Yeah. That's when it's connected to the wheels.
Yeah, I know. That's cool.
Look, Dad. We got the food in the back.
Oh, there's the food. What is it? Which one was that? Did you do? Garage points. Oh, cool.
Trunk in the rear.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Utility up top.
Oh, look, it's covered. It's food, but it's been covered up.
And gasoline in the back.
Gasoline in the back. And there's no spare tyre on the front,
no
though.
Spare tyre.
Oh, that's a shame. That is cool.
Oh my gosh, this here is amazing.
Yeah.
So what do we get for this? 200 litres, 500 repair points, 1 garage point, and that's it.
Yeah. Any mud or anything we can take it through here just to give it a quick check?
Yep, right there. It starts so fast. Oh my gosh, this thing's tank. This thing's hacker. This thing is amazing at going through mud.
And listen to this here, right? In 1959, the British Royal Navy ordered 65 2CVs pickups from the Slough plant. That's the Slough near London. Following sea tests aboard HMS Bulwark in the West Indies and the Indian Ocean during 1957 to 1958, with the Westland Whirlwind helicopters of 845 Squadron Royal Naval Air Service. The pickups also served aboard HMS Albion. They were to serve as motor transport for 42 Commando Regiment of the Royal Marines. which required robust and reliable vehicles to cope with jungle tracks. And worse, that were light enough to be taken ashore by helicopter from the aircraft carriers. Flipping heck! I have to try and find a picture of a 2CV pickup and stick it on the screen.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So even the British Royal Marines were using these things.
The Royal Marines, boy, the Royal Marines are like our army, right? And that.
What?
No, listen. The British Army's right. It's our army.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect us to use these. I would have expected the French to say
the
no.
French Foreign Legion.
Yeah, to say no, it's ours.
Yeah. Yeah, mind you, we do also know from previous videos. Have a look, keep seeing the same thing over again. We also know that, don't forget, the British Army also bought, what was it, 5 T-65 Russian main battle tanks?
Yeah, and they just cut them, strip them down.
Yeah, to see what made them tick. I tell you what, he handles the mud very nicely, this boy. What sort was it say on his number plate?
Can't tell.
Well, stop then so we can read it. Oops, that was a good job I said that because you. Oh, look, you were smashed into a truck. HY Sprotec. Not sure.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. I like that. That's one of my favourite little mods, actually.
Yeah, good little car.
Yeah.
Remember to subscribe, like 100 subscribers. We got our brand new gaming computers.
Yep.
And that'll be a goodbye from me.
Yeah, and a goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching the video. Click one of these boxes to watch another one of our videos, and remember to click subscribe to subscribe.